Welcome to episode 3 of the Looking Glass Chair podcast. And I have something special this week to speak to you about. So we are speaking all about IVF. And I have the lovely Nikki. Now, do you want me Nikki or Nicola?
Oh, Nikki.
Nikki.
Oh, not Nicola.
To be fair, I've always known you as Nick, so...
It's not Sunday. So.
It's not, no Sunday names here. To be fair, see when people say Victoria to me, I'm like, no, it's Vicky. It's Vicky. My mum never wanted me Victoria. It's Vicky. So this week we are speaking about IVF, and the lovely Nick is going to speak about her journey and how, well, she has 2 beautiful babies, and what more can we say about that? But we're ready to speak about it?
Yeah.
So, fire away. Just tell me everything. Tell me from start to finish. Obviously, we spoke about it last week, and just to get an idea of what you went through. But how did it start for you?
It started because we got married in 2018, and I stopped my contraception the year before in 2017, and because I thought it might take a long time for it to progress, I was on the injection, and I got told it could take up to a year to come out your system, and nothing happened. I told you last week, I was having these mid-cycle bleeds. So I would ovulate, and then I would bleed a week before my period, which I don't know why. Never been told why. I haven't really investigated it. But I spoke to the nurse when I was getting my smear done, because it's important to get your smear done.
That's a big thing to know.
Yeah.
But smears tests are at the all-time low again. So I've seen a lot of things about it was an all-time high when Jade Goody got cervical cancer, and that obviously sprouted, but now it's at one of the lowest points again. So always get your smear test.
Yeah, very important.
So,
yeah. And you know what, I'll just say, because I know a lot of nurses, they say that it's not, you don't need to worry about your smell down there, because they're not close to that. It's the smell of your feet that you need to be worried about. Because they're beside your feet. So it's just a wee tip that if you go get your smear test done, make sure your feet don't smell.
That's probably me. I've got really bad feet. Honestly, my friends will tell you, I have finger toes. So honestly, that is why I don't wear toeless.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter as long as they don't smell.
No. That's actually true, because when you go in for your smear, they ask you to pat your knees. Legs. But that is like the closest bit they are to is your toes and your feet.
Yeah.
That makes me cringe, actually. I'm sorry, nurse. I'm sorry.
So don't worry about cleaning down there and wiping in there, because they're not near there. They're near your feet. So make sure you don't have smelly feet when you go for your smear. There's a wee tip. Right, anyway, so I brought up my smear test, and the nurse was like, right, you should probably go speak to a doctor about that. So I booked an appointment with the doctor. The doctor went through several tests, including like STI tests, things like that, which I was really nervous about, because obviously being my husband for many years. I got tested for pox. Everything came back negative. I don't know if they tested me for endometritis, but I don't think I've got it, because I never really came up or anything like that. So,
do you get painful periods?
Varies. I get different symptoms each month. So my sister,
honestly, see how many women have sat in my chair, and that is what they say. That's what doctors say. Oh, it's just a bad period. Yeah. It's just a bad period. Yeah. I was like, do you know what a bad period is?
Yeah.
Like, and especially when it's a male doctor. Now, no shades to the opposite sex, but see when it's a male doctor saying you it's just a bad period. I don't think so. That's one of the ones.
I think it was a male doctor.
Oh, typical.
Yeah. Anyway. So where was that? So got tested, and then I got a phone call from the GP saying that everything was normal. So I could there were 2 options. She could refer me to gynecology, which we could see what the issue with the bleeding was, or she can refer me to infertility, because there was nothing really happening, and that was the end goal. So we decided for infertility, which was the goal. So I think there was a long waiting list. I think it was a 9-month waiting list before we got our first initial appointment, which we were aware of. That's just NHS.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
I think it's a lot. I think the waiting list is longer now.
Probably
that's
COVID.
COVID's been a big part of that log.
Yeah. So we continued trying, but nothing really came of it. Then we got our appointment through. Considering I've been with my husband since I was 21, we never really had a false scare pregnancy or anything like that. So it kind of just shows you that maybe I didn't need to take all that contraception when I was younger.
Were you, see, before, like, you obviously weren't on contraception, were your periods regular?
Yeah.
Yeah, so just like spot on, never no problems.
No, never had any issues. No, I don't. I think I have more issues now post contraception than I did pre conception. So I wonder if there's slight issues coming off it as well. You're putting drugs into your body, so
this is why Paul had his vasectomy. So we don't obviously like hormonal contraception for me, and even like I know they say, what is it, Medina rod? That's the one that doesn't have hormones in it. That still freaks me out. It wouldn't not for me.
The implant.
No, the coil.
Oh, the coil.
I think it's called the Medina one. The one that's it's not got hormones in it. But that's what they kept trying to push on me, and I was like, nah, I don't want to put anything in my body. But I am a raging maniac on hormonal contraception. Like any contraception, so that's why Paul's like, I'll go get my vasectomy. I was like, okay, thanks for that. I did birth, so you go do that. I think it's fair.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why but yeah, I could totally understand it, because I think if you've been on contraception for a long time, that could have a massive effect on your body, and then coming off it, it's probably like a drug, is it? Like your body has to wean itself off of it.
Yeah, that's why it could take so long to get pregnant after. But I didn't have these mid-cycle bleeds or anything like that before I was on contraception.
Really?
No.
Do you think it could have been that?
Don't know. Never really thought about it. Doesn't really matter anymore,
no.
To be fair. So I don't know. Could be. Who knows? I was on a lot of contraceptions, took the pill, got the injection, had the implant, had quite a few things. So
I think I've been
everybody's the same.
Yeah, I think everybody. It's so hard to find the right one. I think the only thing that really I would say that helped me was the patch. But turns out the patch actually can have a large increase of breast cancer, and I've got hereditary breast cancer in the family, so it could be a nut.
I didn't know there was a patch.
Yeah, so it's actually like a nicotine patch, but you change it every week. Honestly, the easiest contraception I've ever taken, but I couldn't have it.
I don't need it now anyway. It's fine.
We're both in the same boat now. We're both in the same boat. We don't need it.
So we went to our first appointment. I can't remember, so long ago. Can't really remember. I remember sitting in it. They were asking us loads of questions. Can't remember any of the specifics of the questions. It was 2019. It was a while ago.
Years ago was that? I can't come down my head. Was it
7 years ago? Yeah, 7 years ago. Obviously, questions came up for Billy. They tested him for cystic fibrosis. If you've got cystic fibrosis, males are infertile. So they tested him for that. He didn't have that, but they found out that he had very low sperm count and mobility.
Mobility, because that's when
they can't swim as well.
Yeah,
and it's got a low count. We found this out in a letter when we got back from our honeymoon, which was quite shocking and devastating.
Yeah, because you've just been on this holiday and thinking, like probably trying for a baby and then come back
and it was our delayed honeymoon because my granddad passed away, so we had to move our honeymoon as well. So loads of mixed feelings around the honeymoon as in general, and then we got back and then found all that out. So that was a big blow, because realising that we didn't just have to go through IVF, we had to go through ITSI, which is different from IVF. I didn't tell you this last week. I forgot about this very
point. Tell me more. What is?
So IVF is when you have a sperm, a dish, and they put the sperm and the eggs in the dish, and they just do what they want to do.
This is when they have to inject.
So ICSI is when they literally physically inject the sperm into the egg.
Yeah, obviously when I was researching into IVF, which honestly is absolutely amazing. What we can do now with it, but it's a lot. It's a lot for women to go through. It's a lot for couples to go through. What I've seen, it's like 6 stages, and every single stage is hard. Every single stage, and that's one of the stages that I've obviously, when it's in, I say the petri dish, and that's one of the ones that I've obviously watched read into is obviously sometimes when it's something to do with mobility, but it's also when sometimes if there's something wrong with the shape of the sperm, and they can't, like the nose of the sperm can't get into the egg, that's when they use the
ICS,
and they use that sometimes as well for that's so you had to go through that rather than just put it in
just normal IVF. So that's a one step. So IVF was obviously invented first, and then ITSI was invented later on.
Right, okay.
So had we been in this situation 20-30 years ago, probably wouldn't have been able to have a baby. It's a lot more expensive as well. So we knew we had to go through this rather than just normal IVF. So then we were put on the waiting list to start treatment. So we waited, we got word we were going to start treatment, I got all the drugs delivered, we were ready to go, and then we hit lockdown. March 2020, COVID hit. Everything went to pot. Treatment stopped. Obviously, all the NHS services shut down. I got a phone call saying, I knew it was coming, but I was devastated to say that we're not going to go forward with your treatment at the moment. Your treatment's going to be on hold. So I dived headfirst into the world of COVID.
Which is like just another era in itself. Like that was honestly, see, looking back at it now, you're just like, what did the world go through?
Yeah.
And you're even now, you kind of look back and go, right, okay, everybody's saying it's just the flu. Like we're now like we don't test for it, we don't. But at that time,
everybody thought that, it was just going to be a really bad case of the flu,
and then it just got worse.
And then it just shit hit the fan. That's the word I'm looking for.
It definitely did. Yes, it did.
But the first wave wasn't as bad as the second wave.
Yeah, I think the second wave was worse than the first one.
But we'd learned a lot, so it was a little bit different. So I know you know, but I did COVID, ICU, critical care, worked with all the really sick patients in that time.
Obviously, I know what you do, but some people don't know what you do. So
I am just going to say I'm working healthcare because I'm not sure the ins and outs of what I'm allowed to say.
Okay.
So
perfect. But yes, you are very clued up on things.
Yes.
Which is a good way to put it as well. Because then obviously you are a really good researcher as well though. Like everything that you've spoke to me about, and when you sit in your chair, yes, I am her hairdresser also, by the way. That when you sit in my chair, it's always interesting to listen to you because you've obviously got the professional side of things, but also just obviously what you've been through the IVF and being a mum and juggling work and juggling obviously everything.
Yeah.
Like it's amazing. But yeah, you've got the two sides, the professionalism and
the personal side, so it helps to be empathetic.
Yes, very much so.
So COVID came and went, first wave, and then I'm trying to work out, I think August, September time, I think we got the word 2020, I think got the word everything was starting to open up again. We were able to start our first cycle of treatment. So that involves nasal sprays, and that encourages you to produce a lot more eggs. You go in for intravaginal ultrasounds. You get a few of those to make sure your eggs are building up. A lot of drugs, a lot of hormones, a lot of mood swings.
Oh, I could imagine.
And then I think it's a couple of weeks you're on that. I can't remember. It's so long ago that I think it's a whirlwind. You go in, you get your eggs retrieved. You have to go under sedation for that. And then they collect your eggs. They then fertilize them. They then get go through a 5-day period where they grow, and then they get put back in. And they'll get graded depending on how good the eggs are or not. So the first time round, we only got, was it 2 eggs? I get 2 eggs the first time that were viable. So the policy is if they get 2 that are only viable, they put both back to increase your chance of getting pregnant. So they put the 2 back in. That's when I was telling you that when I went back, when you get your eggs implanted, you have to have a full bladder. So first time round, because I went twice, the first time round, I was drinking lots and lots of fluids to make sure my bladder was full. I downed like 3 massive cups of water in the car before we got there. I lay down and the doctor was like, your bladder's too full. So I had to go to the toilet and empty a third of my bladder.
And how are you supposed to know? Like, how are you supposed to know what's a third in your bladder? Like, it's not like you could see it and open up and go, hi, that's a third of my bladder. That'll do.
I just kind of trickled out a little bit till I think it was till it felt comfortable but full, like not straining, because when you lie down, I couldn't lie down because my bladder was so full that, and I think it's to push the uterus one way or the other to make it easier to get into. That's why they need you to do that.
I think that, so see, when you're getting an internal and stuff, and what I've had many internals, I think they always see when they're prodding you around and trying to get your ovaries and stuff as well. That is hard, and usually they do say like when you've got a fuller bladder it helps. But I've had some sore internals in my day, so I could only imagine what it's like to go in with a massive full bladder as well as poking and prodding.
It's just the needle, just a big massive needle that goes in.
Oh. No, usually I'm not too bad with injections, but something, to be fair, like I've had biopsies down there, and I honestly never ever think it's that bad. I don't, because every consultant I've had has been amazing, and yeah, I could only imagine that feels. I'm not gonna lie, I can't. No, but
can't remember. I can't even remember getting my eggs collected. So you get a nice dose of propofol and fentanyl, which are nice sleepy drugs that put you under just a little bit, but it's a light sedation. The only thing I remember about it is music, because they played music while they were doing it. So that's really the only thing I remember about it.
Do you remember what the music was?
No, I don't. No. I think
that's a weird question to ask, but I don't know. It always intrigues me. I always find that music, I don't like, things remind me of certain things in the music.
No, I think if the song came on, it might take me back. But
Charlotte was born to Razorlight, and I don't know how I remember that, because I was totally off my face on gas and air. But I honestly and I got Paul, like obviously he was not there. I got Paul like a song, the Razorlight song for it. I think it was something like, I can't remember what it was.
Oh, yeah, I know what song you know, but I can't.
But yeah, that's the.
You gonna sing it?
No, definitely not. I'll break my camera. I would literally break my camera. I can't even do karaoke. I screech. But yeah, so that was egg
retrieval number 1 and egg implantation number 1.
Right, okay.
So then you have the beauty of 2-3 weeks to wait
for your pregnancy test.
Till you do a pregnancy test, which came back positive the first cycle, but then I got a bleed, so it didn't work. I phoned the consultant, was obviously devastated, but we weren't 100% sure because I was still getting false positive pregnancy tests. So we only really found out when we went back in to get our 7-week scan. So again, it's intra scan, because it's the only thing they could see at that point, and there was nothing there. So obviously that was devastating.
And did they say that you, like, could they confirm that you obviously were pregnant, or was it you, like, hormonal wise? Like, obviously you were, but did they say that you had passed baby, or like?
I don't know, just nothing there.
Sometimes it's actually, I don't know if that's it's harder not knowing or easier not knowing. Like, I find that, would it be easier knowing that you have passed it, or if it, because I've heard that when you miscarry, sometimes the body kind of just
observes
the baby.
Yeah, I don't know. I think of it as it's not really a baby at that point.
Yeah, it's not. It's
yeah,
obviously
that kind of makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah, the class is well,
yeah, I never even think of it as that I had a miscarriage. I just think of it as the treatment didn't work. But that's just how I probably process it. I'm very logical minded. I know a lot of people process it differently, but
I think everybody processes things differently, and I think each to their own on processing things. But I sometimes, for me, I like information. Like, that's me. I absorb information, and I'm like, right, okay, I get that. But that's obviously like your logical things. But sometimes I'm just like, I then ask questions and more questions, and it's probably why I'm doing a podcast now as well, because I'm like, I'll ask more questions, and then more questions. And I'm like, right, okay. And then as a hairdresser as well, when somebody sits in the seat and like speaks about their, I'm like, okay, more questions. And they probably, instead of actually leaving feeling dead, like relaxed and stuff, and they're probably like, wow, that's like a questionnaire. I've just sat in my hairdresser seat. But yeah. So what happens next for your treatment?
You go again. So if you've had frozen eggs, so we never got any viable frozen eggs. The embryos that we got at the end of our cycle 1 were put back into me because that was all that there was. I can't remember why. They just weren't viable. There was a couple of reasons. I just can't remember.
I think these says like grading as well. It's like, was it 1 to 6 and then double A's and double B's and
so
like
your A's are your best,
yeah.
your C's are your worst.
And then 6 is your best A and then 1's your worst.
I can't remember. I just remember the A's and the B's and the C's.
Because I think the most that I've seen on things is like 5 ABs or 5 BAs, and that's what they like.
I think the first time round ours were B's and C's, so they weren't good. I don't think. But if you get so you get 3 cycles on the NHS. If you get frozen eggs within that cycle, that still counts within that first cycle. So if I had any frozen eggs, I could have went back, did the spray again to stimulate my ovaries, wouldn't have to then, or stimulate my womb, wouldn't have to then go and get egg retrieval. We just had to go in and get the egg implanted in. But because we never got any frozen eggs, we had to go through the whole thing again. Luckily, I got this amazing consultant that I spoke to. We had a telephone consultation with her, and she prescribed progesterone injections because of this mid-cycle bleed that I had voiced several times, and everybody kind of just washed it to the side. So I think a combination of the progesterone injections and just having a better quality eggs actually helped with the second pregnancy being successful the way it was.
And do you see looking back at it now, do you think like if that consultant hadn't listened to you, do you think that
No. So I think there was a combination of me and Billy, but they couldn't work out what was wrong with me. I don't know if it was just my hormones were a little bit lower. By the signs of it, probably was. And maybe that's why I have that mid-cycle bleed. Maybe it is due to my hormones.
And because were you only able to because I know when they stimulate egg production, some people can get like 20 eggs and some people can get 17. Like, do you think that might have been something to do with?
I had 13 eggs, I think, one time, and then I can't remember the other time. No,
that is actually that's because I think I'd listened to somebody else's story and it was like they had only managed to get 3 eggs at the time.
Yeah,
that must be hard because you go in like excited to, and you've gone through all this like the hormones and that is a massive thing for a woman, and then to come out with But so with your eggs? Obviously, we know what happened with. We don't know, but they don't know yet. But we'll tell you. But with obviously, how many eggs did they fertilize the second time?
4.
And did they put 2 in then?
1 wasn't viable.
Right. Okay.
1 had some sort of genetic issue that they couldn't reimplant it, so that wasn't viable. So we ended up with only 2 again. So no frozen eggs.
Right.
So that's why they put 2 back in to increase your chance of pregnancy. But the way they timed it, so they have to give so many days in between retrieval and implantation.
Right. Okay.
And the time is very important as well. So because we had to go back in on a Saturday, they couldn't do it any later. They had to do it in the morning, which meant that they couldn't grade the eggs because it wasn't late enough into the time.
Right.
So we went in with not knowing how graded they were going back in.
Was that really anxious? Like, were you anxious or were you not too bad?
Billy was more anxious about that. He's more of the overthinker than I am.
Okay. Were you like, it's fine?
Yeah.
Like, we'll be fine. We'll just take it as it comes.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I wish I was more like that. Paul's on that side of scales. Like, we'll just take it as it comes. Whereas I'm like chewing my nails in the viewing.
Yeah. So yeah, there is not going to change the outcome depending on how graded they were or not, that's not going to change what's going to happen. They're only going to put those 2 eggs back in. We can't make a choice over one or the other, because we could have said, no, I only want 1 back in. You could make that choice, but this was 2nd cycle. We didn't have a safety net. We would only had 1 more cycle. I wasn't going through it again if I didn't need to.
And then obviously you have that implantation and stuff. Did that all go okay? Like
Yeah.
the 2nd time?
Yeah.
And then the 2 weeks between implantation and then taking that pregnancy test, how was it?
I knew I was pregnant this time. There was a difference.
Really?
I felt horrific. There was no bleeding, but I don't know if that did help, because I was on the progesterone injection. So I don't know if if that helped as well.
Yeah.
But every twinge, everything, I was like, oh my God, what's going on? I was so aware of my body within that time. But I tried to stay normal, stay active, just try and do as much as I could normally. But the one thing I loved to do, I stopped running, because I was so worried that would reduce my chances.
And did they say, like, did you look into, like, research that said, like, does that reduce your chances? Or because I think I know so many people who are obviously through pregnancy and that they just do their normal things, like heavy weightlifting, running, things like that.
If your body's used to it, then you shouldn't take up anything new.
No.
But if your body's used to it, then you can continue as you were. So I still went to the gym, but I just gave up running.
And did you feel like those 2 weeks just went so long?
Yeah, I was so worried, and I'm not a worrier, just because of what we've been through the first time, how much of a heartache it was. So I just finished 3 months back in critical care ICU for the 2nd wave of COVID as well. So I had been through a massive journey from the first time, like even from when we went for our first appointment to now. I'd changed so much, seen a lot. So it really, I think it affected me a lot more than I cared to let on. But it did, it was challenging. And then it was like, now back into normal life, and you're like, oh, because I'd literally just come out and then back into doing treatment.
Because obviously through COVID, and honestly, I take my hat off to anybody that was in the front line with COVID. Like, that was a scary, scary time for everybody, because you were putting yourself in harm's way of contracting COVID, but also you were trying to start a family. So that must be...
Actually, I never felt more safer than I did when I was in the hospital.
Really?
Because I was in full kit.
PPE. That's what... I wonder how other people felt, like, through that as well. Like, because obviously if you were in full PPE, like, you've got less chance of contracting it. Did you feel worse outside of it? Like, outside in normal environment rather than...
I think I was a lot more twitchy because I knew what was going on behind closed doors. I would come home, I would shower before, and then I would do my gym class online. Then I would shower again. We would wash all our shopping. We'd wash everything. Do you want to know the first time I actually got COVID? Summer 2021. Summer 2021, yeah.
What was that?
A year and a half. Yeah.
That was when obviously restrictions started.
Actually,
to lessen,
no, it must have been summer 2022.
Oh God! So it's even. It's unbelievable the fact that how many restrictions were in place, and then obviously things of, and that's when.
Sorry, summer 2022.
And did you get it back?
I had to keep going because I was on mat leave.
Oh, Christ.
So it wasn't even me that brought it home.
Oh, that's difficult. So you were in the house and it wasn't, obviously. That's, and would it take it were you pregnant or?
No, I'd had them, so that was coming, and that was round about my birthday, so that was July 2022. The joke that Billy brought me COVID for my birthday. That was the first time I got it.
Happy birthday to you.
Yeah.
Oh God.
But working in that environment and working in the hospital, that was the first time I got it.
To be fair, I wonder what was the percentage of people actually getting COVID from the hospital to what was outside? Because I don't think it would be.
I don't even know. They probably know that because
they probably wouldn't,
because everybody's still out and about, and then
Interesting. One of the questions, like, this is what I start with, and then, but yeah. So when can you remember when you did your pregnancy test?
Yeah, Billy was at work. I was lying in my bed. I crawled from my bed through to the bathroom, did my pregnancy test, then crawled back.
Did you phone him, or you were like, I'll phone him later? I just
Can't
wanna
even
go back.
remember. Can't remember. I think a phone. It was like, yeah, I'm pregnant. And that was it. 'Cause I knew it was different. I definitely knew. Yeah.
And how did you feel through the whole, like, up until, did you get early scans as well then?
So you always get a 7-week scan.
Right, okay.
So you get 7-week, then 12-week. So we had a 7-week scan. I didn't know I was pregnant with twins. I just knew I was pregnant. So we didn't know what had happened. I took my pregnancy test on a Saturday because they implanted the eggs on a Saturday. So that's why I was in my bed. I wasn't being sick and I wasn't off work. I was just, it was a Saturday. So we went for a 7-week scan, and we told the nurse, is it a nurse or a midwife? It'd be a midwife. I don't know who works in that department. I can't remember if it's a nurse or a midwife. Anyway, we told the professional what had happened last time. So we're just really anxious. We just wanted to, make sure that everything was okay. So up she goes with the scope. She's like, yeah, so you've got a baby, and we're like, oh, Braille, is it just one? And she's like, well, hang on a minute. Oh no, here's the other one up the back. We're like, and it's just 2. Let me just check. Yeah, just 2. Thank God one hasn't split, because that's high chance.
Because they're obviously, like, they put 2 in,
Mm-hmm.
but is there a chance that, like,
one
splits?
Yeah.
Can you imagine that? Triplets.
Yeah, or
well, would it be classed as triplets?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still classed as triplets.
Yeah, so you'd have 2 identical ones returning.
I wonder if that's ever happened as well. See, is another. Is that happening?
Oh yeah, loads of times. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, because it's higher chance with IVF, higher chance with older individuals as well, because I don't know the ins and outs of it, but the higher you are, there's more chance of multiples, so the higher you are, more chance of egg split.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, so it is there was a possibility.
Well, you had then obviously found out you were having twins, and that was 7-week scan.
7-week scan, twins. No idea what they were. Saw the bills rattling through my mind, because obviously everything's double.
Mm-hmm.
But my silver lining was the fact that it wasn't triplets. So although it was 2, it wasn't 3. So
I suppose, like, imagine 3, like, how 2. Okay, you've got one on each arm.
Yeah.
What 3? What do you do? Like, they've got no hands to bounce on.
There's a girl that's got triplet boys in one piece. They're the same age as the twins, and I just don't know how she does it. Like, they go to a swimming class before us, and her mum's always there to help her with the swimming and things like that. I don't know how she does it, honestly.
I take my hat off to anybody that has, what was it, quadruplets, triplets,
multiples.
Yes,
multiples.
But yes, twins. But to be fair, like, my auntie, she had twins, and it was amazing. It was amazing to see. I thought it was, like, so, because it's quite rare to have twins now?
No, I think it's a lot. It's a lot more common now. I think because people are getting older, and because people are going through IVF a lot more. I think twins are a lot more common. I don't know statistics, but I would say. But I don't know if you know how when you see something and you just constantly see it, like, you're like, oh, I've not saw a black car in ages, and then you always see a black car.
Yeah.
So you're more aware of it. I don't know if that's just me being more aware of it. I don't know.
Do you know many twin mums?
One of my husband's best friends, he's got twin girls. They're 5, going 6, just turned 6. I'm just trying to think of anybody else. Obviously, I know about the triplets mum, but I don't know her personally. I just know her.
And from 7 weeks to 12 weeks to your next scan, how did you feel? Like, were you a nervous wreck, or?
No, I wasn't. The worst bit was my 20-week scan.
Right. Okay.
So the 12-week scan was done at the midwifery unit in Arbroath, and that was fine. No issues. I wasn't worried about that. I think up until like 16 weeks, you can't even feel the move anyway. So I wasn't really. I don't know. I just wasn't that worried. everything seemed to be progressing normally. I felt horrible, awful.
Oh, and there's honestly that horrible fatigue from the day dot to like I think I was 15 weeks for both my kids, and well, for like most of my pregnancies, literally, I remember the fatigue is not like nothing else, and the sickiness. I remember in my best friend's house, I sat down on the couch, just plopped myself down. Next minute, the vomit just comes right up, and I sprint to her bathroom, and she looks like, "What the hell's happened?" And she hear it coming up, and I can't remember. Was I 10 weeks? I think that's yeah. I think I must have been 10 weeks, and there is nothing that can prepare you for that fatigue and those first 12 weeks.
Yeah, I think I remember now saying about the fatigue. I used to go home from work and go for a nap.
Yeah, honestly.
And then Billy would wake me up and be like, "T-shirty."
My friend had it was pregnancy with Charlotte. My friend had a Eurovision party, and I had to text her, and I was getting my HCG levels monitored just to make sure everything was progressing right. And I remember going home and going, I can't get ready for this Eurovision contest. I can't, I'm done. I'm done. I literally crawled on the floor and I was in a wee ball saying, I can't go. I had to text her saying, I'm so sorry. I was just like, it's fine. And that was when I had to tell my friend I was pregnant.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I remember the fatigue is horrendous.
Yeah, I remember now you saying that. But no, I still worked. Didn't take any time off work. Was still going to the gym. I went to the gym 2 weeks before I actually had them. Like I was still going up to the gym and things like that. I think that's what helped me recover quicker as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but they were coming out doing burpees. No, it wasn't. Wasn't like. But the 20-week scan was a big scan for me because at that point although worked in COVID, I was also working with children. Okay. So I think I knew sometimes you know too much. Mm-hmm. So the first time I met a twin consultant, was it before the 12-week scan or after? I can't remember. But I said to her, I'm having a section and I'm bottle feeding. And she's like, okay. No qualms, nothing. Because I wasn't having them naturally because the risk with twins getting stuck, one comes out, one doesn't. Like I just didn't want to risk it. And because it took so long for us to get to that stage that I wasn't taking any more risks. And I wasn't letting Billy get away with not feeding them.
I think that's fair. I think that's totally fair. It's all you carry them, so it's only fair that night feeds completely.
Yeah.
Although Paul did get away with that for me because we still lived in separate houses, so he used to get to go home and relax, and whereas don't get us wrong, most of the time he did stay at our flat, and there was a couple of times he did do night feeds, but he was still working, so I was off on maternity leave, so I gave him that too. So, but I still say he deserved the vasectomy. So I think it's fair.
So the 20-week scan is the one where they look at all the organs, they look at everything, and because it's twins, there's a higher worry, there's higher risk, there's all this. So that's why I was really worried about the 20-week scan. Any scan that you go to, like I had scans in between the 12 and the 20 week as well because they were monitoring growth as well.
Yeah.
I don't think I had that many. I think there was more between the 20-week scan and when they actually came. So at the 20-week scan, we found out we're having a boy and a girl, which is lovely. Because I wanted to know, because I wanted to be prepared and organised and make sure that we know what we're having. Yeah. But everything was fine, apart from the fact that my girl was a lot smaller than my boy. So they wanted to monitor that, just to make sure that she was progressing okay. So we had 4-week scans, and then we had 2-week scans, and then we had 4-week scans, and I had a lot of in and out the scans, and it was quite scary every time because they're scanning you for a reason. Yeah. So I was just like,
that's the because you'd be nervous at every scan because it's not like you're going to look for the good parts. You're not they're looking for the bad parts. Yeah. In case there is bad parts.
Yeah. So my aim is to get to 30 weeks. 30 weeks, get to 30 weeks, the viability rate goes up, everything goes up, the percentage chance of surviving goes up. So I was like, right, I need to get to 30 weeks, happy and get 30 weeks. 30 weeks came and gone, went for our scan. on the Wednesday. I can't remember, Wednesday or Thursday. Went for a scan. I think it was Thursday morning. And I'd drove into work, planned to go to work. Billy planned to go to work. And the sonographer, I don't even know her name. Wish I did. She wasn't like a senior or anything. She was just one of the sonographers. And she says, I don't think something's quite right. I'm way to get my senior just to double check this. And she picked up that my girl's brain was getting starved, or her blood pressure had increased in her brain because she wasn't getting as much food as my boy, so they needed to come out ASAP. And I'm so glad she picked up on that.
How amazing is that?
Yeah.
Like, literally, and that is one of the, like, I know people say so much bad things about the NHS, but that is, like, I just think the NHS has done so many good things, and like, it's such a big thing. If that hadn't happened, God forbid anything, but I just think they just do so much for us, and it's just amazing.
So they said ASAP, but I forgot that the senior sonographer came in. She's like, right, okay, so we've noticed this, but it'll probably be in the next week. We'll get you back in to get them out. So we'll send you along to see the consultant, and then you can probably go home, get things organised, and come in, and then we'll get them delivered. It's like, great, that's fine. I've got time to sort things out. Went down, sat in the I can't remember the unit, waiting to speak to one of the doctors for an hour. One of my mum telling her they're going to come in the next week. We're 31 weeks at this point, so we know they're coming the next week. Blah blah blah. And then we got one of the regs because the consultants had been pulled somewhere into emergency. She's like, right, so we need to deliver them within the next 24 to 40 hours, and we're going to admit you right now.
Oh.
Okay. And we don't know if there's going to be any NICU beds in Dundee, so we might need to transport you to another hospital. Okay. How do you process that information?
That's what, and especially with, like, obviously you expect that you're going to have your babies in 9 Mills Hospital and that you're going to be there.
Yeah.
But for somebody to turn around and say, like, how, but then you've got to go, like, so how do I get to that hospital? And then, like, but then I live in, like, that's a lot.
Well, I don't even have any other kids. I don't have any other commitments. What about if you had other kids and you had to arrange childcare and things like that? And luckily, we got the last 2 NICU beds in Dundee, so that was good. And 48 hours later, they were here. Yeah, so I had to get 2 double steroid injections to stimulate their lung development. Most horrific injection you will ever have, and find well that'll come 12 hours later in your bum. And then I needed to get a magnesium sulfate drip to stimulate brain development. And then I obviously got my section, which was planned, but I think had I needed the emergency, I would have probably still got my section anyway. Billy loves telling the story about how Logan came first, and he was not wanting to come out. He was not ready. Obviously, Freya was the one pushing him out because she wasn't getting that food that she needed. So he ended up needing ventilated for 12 hours post-birth. But that wasn't too scary for me because I knew kind of what was going on. But Billy will tell you the story was the midwife or the consultant, I don't remember who was speaking to him, was like, so you want to well, have a look, your son's out, and you can have a look. So he peeked over and he said all he saw was Freya coming out like this out of my stomach, and he's like, oh no, and then like ducked back down again. And then at one point, the midwife, who was lovely, I can't remember her name either, she had to come round to the back and tell me and Billy about what was going on with Logan, how he was getting ventilated. And apparently she was just standing there with the 2 umbilical cord in her hands, speaking to Billy about, and he doesn't do gore, and he's like, she's standing there with the 2 cords in her hands. But they were born on Friday, and it was the Scotland game. During the Scotland game, and the anaesthetic nurse had the Scotland game in the background, so Billy was very happy.
Oh well, I'll kill 2 birds with one. I'll have my babies, but I'll also be able to listen to the Scotland match.
Yeah.
So. it's mad how things like that stay with you. Like
Yeah.
listening to the Scotland much. Like obviously I spoke about like my music was in the background for mine, but I just like my midwives were amazing as well. My midwife was called Charlotte.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like that was. She looked at me and says, "You will have a name for this baby." I was like, "Yeah, Charlotte," and she just looked at me like, "Oh, really?" And I was like, "Yeah, why?" And she said, "My name's Charlotte." I was like, "Oh," but I love listening to other people's like birthing stories, and don't get us wrong, some people's stories are scary and they've been through hell, but like it's good to speak about so other women can understand what we women go through.
Yeah.
Like that's a lot for your body.
Yeah.
Because we are literally incubators for children for 9 months.
Yeah.
And then they're here.
Yeah. So there were 31 plus 3. Logan was ventilated for 12 hours on CPAP for 6. Jaundice. Both of were jaundice. But apart from that and needing a PICC line, they managed okay and they were home by 34 weeks. Freya with her feeding tube that lasted a week at home, and that was about it.
What did they weigh?
Freya was £2.7 and Logan was £4.6.
It's so massive difference in them. So
massive difference.
How long did they think that Freya had been getting starved for?
I didn't answer that question. I don't know. Because they were monitoring her growth. So at one point they were quite equal, and that's why they didn't do anything about it. And then she must have just, and then I think there was a 4-week gap in between that last scan and the scan before. And that's when it started to drop.
And did they say how? Was it just, because I know like these things just kind of happen sometimes, but sometimes it could do with like placenta or...
No.
It's honestly mental what bodies can do.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
I know. So Logan used to sit on this side. No, sorry, that was Freya's side. Logan was here and he was normal. He had his feet would tuck under my ribs and he would kick into my ribs. And Freya was breech and she would sit on this side. Again, wouldn't have been able to birth them naturally anyway because she was breech. Because at some point they wouldn't be able to move. They didn't move.
Yeah,
so they couldn't turn anymore. And her feet would stick into my vagina and kick my vagina all the time.
Yeah, I honestly remember that feeling. I do not miss that feeling. So when obviously I did Ailey's wedding,
that was the first day that I felt the move in. I was 16 weeks.
Really?
Yeah, and that was the first day they started doing somersaults.
You looked amazing. Wedding. You looked absolutely amazing. You would not know you.
Oh, my face was fat as anything.
It was not. Honestly, you wouldn't have known you were carrying twins.
Yeah.
It wasn't until...
That was their first wedding.
Bump is the first wedding, and you were a bridesmaid as well.
Yeah.
That's crazy. How long ago was that?
That was 2021. That was...
Yeah, because I had to wear a mask.
Yeah.
That was mental.
It was August 2021. What's her wedding? I need to look at her wedding anniversary, but it's July or August sometime because they were November. So.
And when you got them home, they were just happy, healthy babies.
Well, I had emotions. There was one morning, so Billy kept us over in NICU for 3 weeks. Billy, as soon as I got them home, Billy was back to work.
That's so you're literally left with two babies on your own.
Yeah.
And
I'm not one for asking for help.
No.
I will not ask for help unless I truly, really need it. So one morning I'm on the phone to my mum crying, Logan's not feeding, and I don't know what to do. I'm trying to... I ended up back at the hospital with him. I was like constipated, and in between that time as well, I got rushed back into hospital with mastitis as well. So I was back in with that too.
And that's sore. Not that I've never breastfed, but supposedly that is sore. I've seen so many people like have that.
Yeah, it's because I pumped for the first 3 weeks and then stopped.
Yeah, because I think that's quite common when some mums are trying to stop breastfeeding.
Yeah.
And obviously it's like build up and that must be agony. But see, the phoning another mum, I think that's a rite of passage, because I don't know how many times I phoned my mum going, I need help. Yeah. She doesn't sleep.
Yeah.
And honestly, it is a total... I think mums, then I know your mum obviously as well, like they're like, right, I'm coming. Like they just want to be needed as well. I think my mum took 2 weeks off after... I was a week off and I had Charlotte, but then we didn't know obviously Paul was going to be so hands-on. And then my mum's like, okay, so what do I do? And then when I phoned her going, she's not sleeping, it was a case of, right, I'll be all right up. But yeah, I think it's a rite of passage when you phone your mum.
Logan had really bad reflux when he was a
I know
baby.
that
It was horrendous. And they were on 3 hourly feeds. So Billy used to do the 12 and the 3, then I would do the 3, the 6 and the 9, so that we'd at least get a good chunk of sleep. But the first year, I didn't hate it, but it was just really hard.
I would never. That's the reason I would never have another one, because Charlotte was so hard. Like, reflux is horrendous. Every time you put them down, all they do is scream. Well, for Charlotte, that was for what she was like, and then she just wasn't. But she had cow's milk protein allergy, and that's what was causing the reflux.
Oh, okay.
So for her, and she just didn't sleep. Because every time you put her down on her back, she just did not cope very well. So then she got put on omeprazole, Gaviscon, baby Gaviscon, but that constipated down. Yeah. So literally, like, I know how
I would sleep Logan in his, so I'd feed Logan first, and then put him in his bouncer. So then he'd fall asleep in his bouncer, and then I'd transfer him to his cot, whereas I could just lay down and she would fall asleep. So he struggled to fall asleep when we moved him into his cot, because he was so used to fall asleep in his bouncer. So that was a mistake. So transitioning him into his cot was a nightmare. And at one point I was like, nah, I can't, I've got 2 babies, I can't do this. So he had to learn very quickly. They both learned very quickly to fall asleep, like self-soothe.
How old are they now?
4.5.
And they're ready to go to primary school, aren't they?
No, they're going to defer.
Oh, you defer?
Yeah, so they'll start next year. Yeah.
It goes so fast. It does go so fast.
Yeah.
If you had anything to say to somebody that was a way to start IVF, or any, like...
I knew you were going to ask me a question like this.
I have to ask it, because I'm a question asker. Like, what would you say to somebody that's a way to start it, or what advice would you give them?
I'd say be pushy. It's your treatment at the end of the day, and it's your babies, and it's your body. You know, you want the right treatment that works for you. So you really need to, your voice. You need to speak up and don't, ask as many questions as you can, because you want that right treatment at the right time. If we hadn't got those injections and she hadn't listened to us, that doctor, who knows where we would.
Is there anything you would change from that?
No, because I wouldn't have Logan and Freya. No. Yeah. I know the first time was really difficult.
Yeah.
But it builds, like, it's resilience. It builds you up, and it makes you stronger. And I wouldn't have my 2 little beautiful babies if I didn't.
I say that because obviously I went through a late miscarriage at 17 weeks, and I say it now. I say, if I didn't go through that then, I wouldn't have Charlotte.
Yeah.
And that's, I think that's what everybody, like, even if you're going through a hard time at that point, it doesn't mean that you're going to go through a hard point later on.
Yeah.
This is what this podcast is trying to, like, I just want women to know that they're not alone when they're going through the hard stuff.
But you need to speak up for your healthcare. Like, it's you, and nobody else is going to speak up for you.
Yeah.
And it's the hard bit, because those doctors are amazing. They don't know you, and they don't know what they don't know.
They're not living with your body.
No.
That's the thing. They're not living.
No.
They're not seeing what you do day to day. They don't see, like, it's the whole. The thing, obviously, like, I speak about the problems with my legs and stuff like that, and I know you're looking at my legs going, oh, why are you sitting like that? But they don't see how I am from day to day.
No.
And, like, I need to speak up about more stuff.
They see you for 7 minutes.
That's it.
Or an online consultation.
Over the phone consultation, which seems to be very, very popular now. But yeah, that is definitely one of the big advice that everybody should listen to.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for sharing. I know it's probably it's a nervous thing as well. Like, you're probably like, why I just said all that.
I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm not too nervous.
Good. I'm probably more nervous than you. I should see how many takes I tried for the first and the second one. But I think we've done well with this.
Okay.
But yeah, we've done well. There's not too many takes in this at all. But yeah, thank you so much. Because honestly, like, this is probably going to just, see, even if it just helps one woman, that's the way to start IVF.
I'm never going to watch it.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I cringe when I watch back my stuff, even my TikToks and stuff. Like I cringe, so don't worry. Like Paul here. I hear my voice on the like when Paul listens. I'm like, oh no. But yeah, no, thank you so much.
That's okay.
And again, thank you so much for watching episode 3, and I hope this helps in any way.